Do you know who the dukes are? Dukes were noblemen who were ranked just below the high-ranking royals, and for this vital position, the dukes for ages played an important role in royalty to connect the royal family with the common people, which made them extremely rich. However, in the present world, there are some dukes who lost a significant amount of wealth due to the changing political environment. But do you know who these royal dukes are? Maybe not. In this video, we'll bring you the list of 12 of the poorest dukes in the world, so without further ado, let's get started. At number 12, we have the Duke from the United Kingdom. This is Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. Prince Edward, George Nicholas Paul Patrick of Kent, was born October 9, 1939 in London, England. He's the son of Prince George, Duke of Kent, and Princess Marina of Greece and Denmark. Now, as a prince, he belongs to the House of Windsor, which has been a reigning royal family in the United Kingdom since 1917. While Prince Edward's family no longer holds sovereign power, their historical importance and noble status remains prominent in British society. Prince Edward inherited his duke title in 1942 following the tragic death of his father during World War II. Now, the net worth of the Duke of Kent is around $5 million. Around $2 to $3 million of his wealth is derived from inherited properties and estates, including the family's historic residence, such as the Kent House and Wren House, which makes around $800,000. However, his wealth also comes from his service as a royal, which made him around $1 million over the years. But despite his close relationship with the royal family, his powers and influence were very much limited, leading to less wealth accumulation. Apart from this modernization of monarchy and reduction in the financial resources allocated to ceremonial roles of duke have also played a vital role in reducing the wealth of the Duke of Kent. Next, we have Richard Walter, the 10th Duke of Buccleuch and the 12th Duke of Queensberry. Born in 1954 into a Scottish family, Richard Walter John Montague Douglas Scott assumed the titles and responsibilities of the dukedom after the death of his father, John Scott, the 9th Duke of Buccleuch, in 2007. Now, the lineage of this duke is quite historic, as that stretches back several centuries, and it played a vital role in the politics of Scotland. For this reason, their family's wealth and influence have been historically tied to extensive landholdings and various properties, including the country estates of Balhill House in the Scottish borders, and the Drumlanrig Castle in Dumfries and Galloway. All these monuments are still considered significant and part of the family's legacy. However, due to the promotion of democratic values, this duke and his family lost their grip on their administrative and financial power within the nation, causing a reduction in overall family wealth, which was around $40 to $50 million a few centuries ago. The current net worth of this 69-year-old duke is around $2.5 million, and this wealth is a result of inheriting royal assets. Like Duke Richard owns around 200 to 300 acres of land in Scotland, and Northamptonshire also owns 430 square miles of beautiful countryside land. This is used to run his multiple farming businesses like raising cattle and growing timber. Next, we move from Scotland to Spain to meet our next duke, and this is Pedro de Bourbon, Duke of Calabria. Pedro Juan Maria Alejo Santos was born in 1968 as the son of Carlos de Bourbon, Duke of Calabria, and Princess Anne of Orleans. Being born the Duke of Calabria, he became part of the House of Bourbon, a part of the Italian Bourbon lineage, which ties its roots to the Spanish and even French monarchies. However, Pedro's title as Duke of Noto came later in his life at the age of 47, when his father, who previously held the title, passed away in 2015. As a duke, his role is limited to non-administrative, which not only makes him a ceremonious nobleman, but also a duke with no power in modern politics, and it's believed to be the main cause of the downfall of the wealth of this duke. Now, the net worth of this duke is around $2 million. While this may look like a lot from the commoner's perspective, it's nothing compared to the royals of the past. In fact, a major portion of this duke's wealth comes from the inherited wealth, which mostly comprises royal estates like Tolentana and Ciudad Real, Spain. This wealth also induces family estates, which are spread in different parts of Spain and Austria. At number 9, we have Wilhelm, the Duke of Württemberg from Germany. Wilhelm Friedrich Karl von Württemberg, Duke of Württemberg, was born September 25, 1949 to the Royal House of Württemberg, a noble German dynasty that was founded by Conrad I, Court of Württemberg, around 1081 AD. The parents of Duke Wilhelm are Duke Karl Vladimir of Württemberg and Princess Diane of Orleans, who provided him with a royal upbringing and a strong sense of duty from an early age. However, Wilhelm's journey to become a duke was not a simple one. He succeeded his father in 1975, taking on the title and becoming head of the royal house. As a duke, his responsibility mostly covers its preservation of the House of Württemberg's heritage and the promotion of the region's cultural and historical interest, which is not an administrative power, but rather ceremonious one. It's believed that for this reason, over the years, the dukes of this royal house have seen a constant decrease in wealth. However, the net worth of this 29-year-old duke is still around $1.5 million, and a major portion of his wealth is secured in the form of real estate and rented properties in Germany. Now, despite being the head of a historic royal house, this Duke Wilhelm also runs a small business in the nation to support his lifestyle. Next, we have Jocelyn Charles de Rohan-Chabot, 14th Duke of Rohan from France. Jocelyn Charles Louis Jean-Marie de Rohan-Chabot was born in 1939 as the eldest son of Alain de Rohan-Chabot, the 13th Duke of Rohan. As a nobleman, he belonged to the royal house of Rohan, which rose to power during the medieval period around 4 centuries ago. After this, the noblemen of the house held various titles, including Duke of Brittany and Duke of Rohan, which signify their importance and influence in the region. Over the centuries, the House of Rohan established itself as a powerful and influential French court and the Catholic Church, which held political power in the local society. However, Jocelyn became the 14th Duke of Rohan after the passing of his father in 1966. As the 14th Duke, his role primarily encompasses ceremonious duties and the preservation of the family's historical legacy. But beyond this, he lives with no special power, just like any other common French citizen. And having those special powers is the reason for the reduced wealth of the Duke. Now, the net worth of Duke of Rohan stands at over $1.1 million, and thanks to his inherited land holdings and his art collections, his net worth is over $500,000 in that department. And beyond this, he's also generated somewhere between $300,000 through his long political career in France. At number 7, we have John Seymour, the 19th Duke of Somerset. John Michael Edward Seymour was born in 1952 as the son of Percy Seymour, 18th Duke of Somerset, and Jane, daughter of the 7th Baron Hugh Fortescue. As the son of the Duke, he was born into the style of a lord and belongs to the Seymour family. It is an ancient English noble family that rose to power in the late 15th century and held various titles, including marquises and dukes of Somerset. John Michael, however, inherited the title of Duke of Somerset at the age of 32 upon the passing of his father in 1982. After the event, he assumed the responsibilities and privileges associated with the title. But unlike the wealthy dukes of Somerset, the current duke doesn't possess the immense riches associated with the title, and it is due to the societal changes brought in British society. Now, his role as duke mostly represents the noble family, and though the monarchy is supported by the government, this 70-year-old duke and his family, despite having a close relationship with the British royal family, received no support from the UK government, which constantly led the wealth of the duke to be reduced. Now, the net worth of this duke is around $900,000. This wealth of the duke is mostly included in lands and some of the mystical royal assets like the Barry Pomeroy Castle in Devon and Maiden Bradley in Somerset. Now, we have the next duke from Spain who lives a modest life. This is Carlos Zurita, Duke of Saraya. Carlos Emilio Juan Zurita y Delgado was born in 1943, and unlike the other dukes of Europe, this duke was born into a common but reputed Spanish royal family, whereas his father, Carlos Zurita y González Vidalti, was a doctor and a specialist in the respiratory and circulatory system. Later, following the footsteps of his father, the Duke of Saraya became a medical doctor in Spain. However, he became a duke when he married the Infanta Margarita, the sister of King Juan Carlos I of Spain in 1972, which helped significantly Carlos to become an important member of the royal family. This title is about the province of Saraya, located in Spain. The net worth of this doctor turned royal is around $800,000, and unlike other European dukes, the wealth of this nobleman doesn't consist of inherited lavish royal estates. On the contrary, most of his wealth includes private properties in Spain, which were accumulated by the duke in 5 decades of earning through his successful medical career. And due to this reason, the wealth of these 80-year-old dukes is shrunken and low, but despite the low wealth level, he is highly respected in Spanish society for his contribution to the Spanish people. Now, as a member of the Spanish nobility, Carlos Zurita's role is largely ceremonial and representative, which involves attending formal occasions and cultural events. Next, we have the Duke from Germany, Prince Christian, Duke of Oldenburg. Christian Nicholas Uden von Oldenburg was born in 1987 in Lübeck, Germany, as the son of Anton Gunther, Duke of Oldenburg, and a member of the prestigious Holstein-Gottorp, which traces its roots back to the medieval Oldenburg region in what is now northern Germany. While the house no longer reigns over a sovereign territory, the House of Oldenburg still retains its noble status and heritage. Due to this reason, the members of the family still hold importance in their society. Coming to Prince Christian, he received the title of Duke of Oldenburg after the passing of his father in 2014. Now, the net worth of the Duke is estimated to be around $600,000, and a big chunk of his wealth is directly related to the inherited wealth, like land holding and commercial properties in Germany. Apart from these properties, he also owns a few majestic structures, like Uten Castle and Hunting Lodge. As the Duke, his role is primarily ceremonial in nature, which is the prime reason for reducing the wealth of his Duke. Many believe that the reduced wealth of this Duke is the direct result of the demise of political power over the years, due to the modernization and democratization of Germany. Next, we have a Duke turned French diplomat, Elie de Noailles, the 10th Duke of Noailles. Elie Marie Philippe de Noailles was born in 1946 as the only son of Francis de Noailles, 9th Duke of Noailles and member of the noble house of Noailles. This noble house of dukes was created in 1663, and after which the dukes of this house were closely associated with the French monarchy and have been an integral part of the country's history, with their constant participation in various governmental and military roles for centuries. Now, Duke Elie de Noailles became the 10th Duke of Noailles and head of the prestigious House of Noailles in 2009 after the death of his father. But like the contemporary dukes of Europe, he holds no significance in internal politics, and it's because of the decline of the monarchy and changes in societal structure in France. Now, the net worth of the Duke is estimated to be around $600,000, and his wealth mostly contains land properties, only as the royal assets like castles and places of Duke were gradually taken by the French government. In addition to this, his wealth also comes from a successful 4-decade career as a French diplomat, during which he diligently served his government without any exceptional privileges. At number 3, we have Borwin, Duke of Mecklenburg. George Borwin Frederick Franz was born 1956 to George Alexander, Duke of Mecklenburg, and Archduchess Iona of Austria. Duke Borwin belongs to the House of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, a prominent German royal family with rich historical lineage that traces its roots almost 856 years ago, when Prince Pribislav established this North German dynasty in 1167. And since then, this family has held power in various German regions at different times in history. However, in 1996, with the passing of his father, Borwin became the Duke of Mecklenburg, and later in 2010, he even became the head of the House of Mecklenburg, accepting the responsibilities and duties that came with the position. But unlike the ancestors of the Borwin, he is a noble with no special political power and less financial affluence. Now, despite his noble title, Borwin doesn't enjoy the opulence or financial status historically associated with dukes due to the delusion of power in Germany, increased taxation, and even the separation of wealth from the ducal responsibilities. Now, coming to the wealth, the net worth of the 67-year-old duke is around $400,000, and this net worth doesn't include any royal castles or large landholdings. Rather, his wealth is mostly secured in the form of private estates in Germany and small secured funds. Next, we have a duke from Scotland, and this is Alexander Douglas Hamilton, the 16th Duke of Hamilton and 13th Duke of Brandon. Alexander Douglas was born March 31st, 1978. He is the son of Angus Douglas Hamilton, the 15th Duke of Hamilton, and his wife, Sarah Scott. Due to his royal lineage, he's considered as a core member of the Douglas Hamilton noble family. And this noble family was created by Charles I in 1643 when James Hamilton, the 3rd Marquis of Hamilton, and he was granted the title of Duke of Hamilton by Charles I, King of England and Scotland. However, Alexander was given the responsibility of Duke at the age of 34 after the death of his father in 2010. Now, holding a history of close relationships with the British royalty and European monarchy, the Duke of Hamilton and his family are expected to receive financial support from the government of Scotland, but on the contrary, he receives nothing, which is why he stands in the list of poor dukes. Also, it is believed the rapid reduction of power of this duke is associated with the monarchy in Europe, affecting his wealth and that of his position. Now, the net worth of this 45-year-old duke is estimated to be around $300,000 to $400,000. Most of his wealth is not present in castles or art collections like other noblemen, but is in fact secured in the form of commercial rented lands and financial assets in Europe. At number 1, we have a duke with an interesting lineage. This is Cristobal Colon de Carvajal, 18th Duke of Veragua of Spain. Cristobal Colon de Carvajal was born in 1949 as the son of Alfonso Colon de Carvajal, 17th Duke of Veragua, and Maria Arteaga. This made him a part of the prestigious lineage, as he's a direct descendant of Christopher Columbus. The title of Duke of Aragua was originally granted to Christopher Columbus's family in recognition of his exploration and his endeavors. Now, Cristobal accepted the prestigious title of Duke of Aragua upon the passing of his father in 1986. And although the Duke holds a historic title in a nation like other contemporary noblemen, the role of this Duke is more ceremonial and symbolic. The net worth of this Duke is estimated to be around $400,000, which is way too low for a European aristocrat. But the decline in economic power of many dukes, including the Duke in this instance, can be attributed to several factors like democracy, land reforms, inheritance tax, redistribution of large estates in Spain, and other legislative measures. All this has reduced the economic power once held by noble families. Even the expenses of maintaining royal historical properties can be expensive, often growing more than income generated by dukes, which is also considered as the reason for the reduced wealth of this duke. Thanks for watching the video. Comment down below your favorite part and let us know. Also press the subscribe button and bell icon for regular updates.